Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm Emmanuel, I'm an airline pilot and a member of PMDG's tech team. Welcome to episode 5 on how to learn to fly a new aircraft. In the previous episodes we have covered the safety inspection, startup, general handling familiarization, as well as traffic pattern work, learning to take off and land in your new airplane. Now, right now we have vacated the runway after our last traffic pattern, after we have been happy with how our airplane flies, and now we still have our after landing and shutdown procedure to learn. Now, in this particular video I am not going to teach you how to fly the Citation Mustang that I'm currently learning, but I'm going to teach you how I am actually proceeding with learning the airplane. So obviously, just like in the first episode where I told you how to build up your flow in the flight deck and how to learn those procedures, we're going to do the very same thing again, so I am actually not going to go into too much detail here. Basically, we've vacated the runway, we've stopped it, and now we have the following tasks, according to the manual. Flap panel up, speed brake retract, wing stabilizer de-ice switch off. That's actually the one up here. Then pitot-static switch off, windshield anti-ice as required, engine anti-ice as required, landing lights off, and transponder as required. So, just like on the previous occasions, we are looking at what we have to do, and then we'll build up our own flow here in the flight deck. So for example, it could look anything like this. Speed brake up, flaps up, lights as required. By the way, the anti-coil could go out here as well. So, speed brake, flaps, lights, anti-ice, transponder. That would, for example, be a possible flow that you could use here. So it would go something like this. And personally, I always like to visualize those flows by drawing them onto the panel for me. That completes the after landing procedure, so we can now taxi in and park our airplane and shut it down. Now, that is basically as easy as it is. However, you are of course right when you are about to say, well, how can I practice that flow properly? Because if I only practice it like after every full flight that I've done, then that is going to make things quite difficult, isn't it? And you're absolutely right with that. So let's actually taxi to our parking stand, and then I am going to tell you on how I would go along and start practicing my procedures in this airplane now. So the gas station actually looks like a good place for us to go. Of course, we've flown our tanks pretty empty there. Jet A1 is what we need, so we'll park our airplane up here. Alright, parking brake set, let's go ahead with the shutdown procedures. So we have parking brake set, engine anti-ice switches off, windshield anti-ice off, passenger safety switch off, landing light switches off, air conditioning switch off, flap handle, takeoff approach, avionics power off, throttles cut off after ITT stabilize for a minimum of 2 minutes. Yeah, that is stable for at least 2 minutes. So, cut off. Thank you for your kind words, Flight Simulator. Then I'll wait for the engines to run down, and when the N2 is below 20%, like it is now, then external light switches off, cockpit and cabin fan knobs off, those are over here, not animated in this airplane unfortunately. Oxygen supply handle, pull to cut off, battery switch off, and oil level check. Well, wonder how you're supposed to do that after you've shut the battery off. Anyway, you get the general idea of how this flow is going. So once again, you would kind of build yourself a proper procedure there to follow along. Then of course we have the normal checklist to verify that everything we did is actually done correctly. So, I told you a little bit earlier on that I would have a tip for you on what you can do in order to practice those shutdown flows and generally all those flows on the ground. And that is quite simple. Basically, you have your airplane cold and dark right now. So, if you go ahead and you do the full procedures like preparing it, taxiing out to the runway, and then just taxi along on the runway, vacate it once again, and then do your shutdown or your after landing and your shutdown flows. That is basically going to give you a very good practice to learn the normal procedures of your aircraft. When you know all the procedures, so when you're familiar with pretty much everything that you need to do on the ground with the airplane, and you have practiced the traffic patterns and familiarized yourself with the general aircraft handling like we have done in the past 4 episodes, then it is about time to start planning your first proper flight in the way that the airplane is meant to be flown. Be it a VFR flight if you're flying a small Cessna. Hold on, I'm sitting in a small Cessna here. You know what I mean. Or be it an IFR flight if you are flying an IFR equipped airplane. However, for this video I'm going to leave it just at this. Thank you very much for watching. I hope that you've enjoyed this video. If you did, please let me know in the comments, and do let me know how you are learning your aircraft. Are you doing things in a similar way than I do, or are you doing them completely different? But for now, thank you very much. As always, if you do want to support the channel, you can do so through the Buy Me a Coffee link that you can find in the video description below. Until then, thank you very much for watching, and I'm looking forward to see you all again in the next one, and maybe in a brand new airplane.